Hi, my name is Mia. Welcome back to the Yap Section, the podcast where we talk about pop culture, music, and fashion. Today we're going to be talking about the scrutiny of being a black woman, especially in context of Love Island and the Obama's divorce. So if you've seen lately, the Islanders have officially left the villa, and while we thought all the drama was going to happen within the villa, it seems like a lot more is about to happen outside of the villa. Specifically, Shelly and Alandria have been getting a lot of backlash being outside of the villa. Something that was really terrible to see was especially Shelly getting bullied after the Stand On Business challenge, to the point where even BuzzFeed, a huge network, released a thing where they said that Shelly deserves a knuckle sandwich. Now, when Huda crashed out and did all that other kind of stuff, no one ever said that she deserved a knuckle sandwich. And it's just very interesting to see how much grace someone like Huda, who's more white passing, gets than Shelly and Alandria. Huda crashed out. She called people out of their name. She was mean to the other girl. She did all this kind of stuff. And everyone was on team train. Huda deserves a redemption arc. Huda deserves to find love. Meanwhile, Shelly and Alandria had one arguably bad in my opinion, moment during the Stand On Business challenge, and all of a sudden there was calls and cheers for them to get out the villa, people saying they knew they were mean girls all along, people saying that this is what their real personality, when every other episode within the season was them remaining calm. And even outside of the villa, they've gotten that same level of scrutiny where no one accused Huda and Chris of having a fake relationship. No one accused Iris and Pepe of having a relationship. Both Shelly and Alandria have been accused of being in fake relationships, which I think if we see the common thread here, it's not hard to figure out why. People said Shelly and Ace were in a fake relationship before they got into the villa and faked their way through the season until they left. And everyone has doubts that Nick could even like Alandria, a very gorgeous, model-worthy, dark-skinned black woman. And the level of scrutiny that they've faced and backlash for even minuscule actions in comparison to things that Huda has done has been crazy. And I'm not going to sit here, I'm not a total Huda hater, especially after her interview on the Call Her Daddy podcast. Girl has been through some rough things. And I think her response to how the men were moving through the villa and stuff like that is a reflection of that. Now, that's not to say that I also am a Huda defender, and I totally like that girl. I think that girl has a lot of deep self-reflection to do before getting into a relationship with a person. Because in that final episode, the way she was acting with Chris definitely raised a lot of concerns around questionable behavior. But again, people are at her defense sending death threats to Shelly, Alandria, Chris in defense of this woman that you don't even know, in comparison to the black women who were given no grace if they showed any kind of large emotions on this show. They were all good when they were calm, when they were nice to anybody, when they didn't cause any problems within the villa. But the moment that they have an emotional moment, they're instantly demonized and villainized. And it really goes to show, thinking about the politics of being a black woman in the public eye and how you have to carry yourself and move a certain kind of way, because the moment that you act the way people think you should act or have some sort of large emotional reaction, suddenly that's your real personality, and any other thing that you've presented to the public before is kind of null and void. And I feel like we also see that scrutiny with all the rumors that were happening around the Obama divorce. Michelle and Barack were constantly under just the most minuscule scrutiny when they were in office, running for office, even post-office. The things that they wore, the ties that they wore, if you know what I'm talking about. And same thing now, like they haven't been seen together a few times, and suddenly everybody was running on this mill of, oh, they must have gotten divorced. Because there could be no possible way that maybe they're this happy, healthy black couple who's out doing their own independent things. To the point where Michelle had to pull Barack onto her podcast and verbatim say, like, hey guys, we're not getting a divorce. I've never thought about quitting on this man before. There's no reason or indication to even think that we are getting a divorce. We don't know who made that up, and we don't know who ran with that, but it's not true. Overall, I think that we need to always be very conscious and mindful of the grace and maybe our implicit bias that come through when observing black women under a public eye. And think about some of your faves that y'all have defended down, you Lana Del Rey lovers and Taylor Swift lovers. Any grace you've given to those two, I want you to really remember and then pass it on to the Black women. Thank you very much. All right, that's it for this episode. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. Bye.